So the coronavirus is of course going to impact people's mental health. Some are challenged by loss of income. Others have anxiety around not knowing what's going to happen. Whereas others as well may feel lonely during this period of time. So we wanted to create this free resource highlighting 7 tips to help you manage your mental health during this tough period. So tip number 1 is to limit the news that you read. It's very easy for all of us to pick up a phone and start scrolling through social media and to start scrolling through the news and seeing a variety of different headlines. Now, those headlines can cause a lot of anxiety, can cause a lot of fear. It's important to stay in touch with the guidelines that's being put out, but try and limit your exposure to news, to social media headlines around the coronavirus, because a lot of them can be triggering, a lot of them can add to your anxiety and can really impact your mental health as well. It could be as simple as clearing out your social media feed and hiding posts related to the coronavirus, or at the same time, limiting your exposure to social media in the mornings. Try and control the information that you're seeing rather than that information controlling you. Tip number 2 is stay connected with people. During this time, it's going to become isolating. It's going to feel very lonely, and we need that connection to feel mentally healthy. So do all you can and go out of your way to connect with friends, with family members, with colleagues, and utilize technology. Utilize tools such as FaceTime and WhatsApp to try and connect with as many people as you possibly can during this time. And don't be afraid of video chat. Everyone's afraid of video chat, and that's natural, but video chat can help humanize that communication. We need to communicate during these periods of time to connect with others as much as you possibly can. Tip number 3 is have some worry time. During this period, there's of course going to be anxiety, there's going to be doubt, there's going to be fear, there's going to be worry. And it's very easy for us to try and suppress those emotions, those negative emotions, and try and make them go away. But actually try and schedule in or be okay with having some worry time. Maybe write down what's going on, write down some of your anxiety, write down the stress that you're feeling, the fear that you have, and try and actually embrace that time. When we have these negative emotions, it isn't about suppressing them, getting rid of them and wanting them to go. Sometimes it's about embracing them, accepting them, and trying to work through them. So don't beat yourself up if you're struggling to deal with it, if you're having negative emotions. The self-awareness to realize that you're not dealing with it well is really, really important. When you have that self-awareness to understand that you may be feeling these negative emotions, try and work through it and have some worry time for yourself. Tip number 4 is to talk about it. Talk about it with someone that you trust. It could be a family member, it could be a co-worker, it could be a friend. Whoever it is, don't be afraid to talk about how you're feeling during this period of time. At Every Mind at Work, we're all about trying to normalize mental health conversations. We're all about trying to get people to have those difficult conversations. And in this period of time, it's important to realize that a lot of people are feeling the same way. A lot of people will be feeling these negative emotions that you're feeling as well. So don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't be afraid to confide in someone. You don't have to deal with it on your own. And more importantly, you're not the only one experiencing this right now. Tip number 5 is to keep a very similar routine. If you're self-isolating, if you're working from home, if you're working remotely, if you're not going out to social events that you used to, try and keep a very similar routine. When you're at home, it's very easy to neglect what you normally do. Those little habits that you might do in the morning that set you up for a better day. Your routine is of course going to change, and a lot of people don't like change, but try and keep a similar routine. Wake up at the same time, get up at the same time, maybe have breakfast at the same time. Try and get your morning routine in. And if you exercise daily but you can't go out to exercise, try and do a home exercise. When you're used to doing a similar routine and all of a sudden that changes, it can have a huge impact on your mood and your emotions and your mental health. So try and keep a similar routine. Tip number 6 is to keep your mind and body active. During this period of time, you almost need to overcompensate, to do more to try and keep your mind and your body active. It could be a quick 10-minute workout in the morning from home. It could be reading that book that you've been putting off for a long period of time. We in fact spend a lot of time commuting to and from work. We spend a lot of time driving from one place to another. So actually, let's try and utilize this time to our advantage and try and utilize this time to keep our minds and body active. Sleep is of course really important too. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not sleeping well, it's going to have an impact on your mental health. So try and prioritize sleep during this period. And then tip number 7, the final tip, is to know that you're really not alone. Lots of people say it when it comes to mental health that you're not alone. And when you are struggling with your mental health, you feel like you need to isolate and you feel like you need to deal with it on your own. But in reality, when we look at this situation, you are not alone. Everyone else is experiencing it. Everyone else may be having similar emotions. So don't be afraid to reach out to other people, to try and share how you're feeling with others too, because that can also be hugely beneficial for them. And know that you're not alone and we are in this together. So hopefully those 7 tips help. 7 tips to help you manage your mental health during this tough period. This period of anxiety, this period of uncertainty, this period of not really knowing what's going to happen. But use these 7 tips to help you manage your mental health and let us know if they helped. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me personally, paul@everymindatwork.com. And if you want more advice and free advice on the coronavirus and how you can manage your mental health during this period, head over to everymindatwork.com/COVID-19 for free advice as it happens.